Let's talk about one of the most ambitious infrastructure projects in modern history. It's a grand vision to connect an entire continent, but it's hit a massive geopolitical roadblock. And one nation is sitting right at the heart of the whole standoff.
The sheer scale of this is just staggering. It's called the Asian Highway, a UN project aiming to weave together 32 different countries. The goal? To basically revolutionize trade and travel, opening up new routes for everyone, even for the most landlocked nations. It's a total game changer.
But here's the thing. There's one single, missing link that's holding this whole continental network hostage. And as you can see right here on the map, that critical gap is Bangladesh. So what on earth is going on?
Well, believe it or not, this entire international dilemma really just boils down to a disagreement over a couple of lines on a map. There are two competing visions, two different routes at the very heart of this thing. Okay, so here's the official plan. The routes AH1 and AH2 proposed by the UN. Notice how they enter Bangladesh from India on one side and then exit right back into India on the other. For India, this is perfect. It creates a land bridge, a shortcut connecting its mainland to its northeastern states.
But Bangladesh is pushing back with a totally different idea. They want this route instead. You can see it would give them a direct land connection to Myanmar and, from there, the rest of Southeast Asia. This would break their geographic confinement. So this isn't just a different road we're talking about. It's a completely different strategic future.
So what's the holdup? Well, it's an external problem. Myanmar, they've shown very little interest in this. And that's mainly because the route would have to cut right through its Rakhine province, an area that's dealing with some really intense internal conflict and instability.
So that leaves Bangladesh in a really tough spot. By holding out for a connection that honestly might never even happen, what is the country leaving on the table right now?
The short answer is a potential economic lifeline. The arguments for joining the network, even on the current terms, are incredibly powerful. Just look at this data. It tells a pretty stark story. South Asian countries do only 4% of their trade with each other. Just 4%. Now compare that to 30% in Southeast Asia or a staggering 60% in the EU. The Asian Highway is seen as the key to finally unlocking all that immense potential.
And the numbers get even more specific. It's estimated that Bangladesh could rake in around 8 billion taka. That's over 90 million US dollars every single year just from the transit fees on Indian goods passing through.
And you know, it's not just about those fees. Bangladesh could become a huge regional transport hub. Think about it. They could give landlocked Nepal and Bhutan access to their seaports. This could attract a ton of foreign investment, give tourism a major boost, and dramatically lower the shipping costs for their own exports.
The economic case seems pretty overwhelming, right? So, with this much prosperity on the line, what could possibly justify turning it all down?
Well, the answer is on the complete other side of the coin. It all comes down to a deep-seated fear for its national security and its sovereignty.
And that fear is rooted in this one single geopolitical reality. The country is India-locked. It's almost entirely enveloped by its much, much larger neighbor. And that fundamental vulnerability, well, it shapes pretty much all of their strategic thinking.
This quote from strategic analyst M. Abdul Hafiz really gets to the heart of it. He asks, "What will happen when we will be bereft of the only leverage in our hand?" The argument is that Bangladesh's geographic position, the very thing that forces India to go around it, is the only leverage it has. The fear is that if you give India an easy highway, you give up that crucial bargaining chip forever.
So the specific anxieties are pretty clear. Losing that strategic leverage, becoming too economically dependent on India, and of course the possibility that the highway could one day be used to transport military equipment. But ultimately it's all about one thing, a question of national autonomy.
So this all builds up to a classic, incredibly difficult choice for a nation. Development versus sovereignty.
And here it is, laid out side by side. On one hand, you've got billions in revenue and the chance to become a regional trade hub. On the other, the loss of strategic leverage and some really serious fears over sovereignty. It's a monumental decision, and there is no easy answer.
Now, the author of the source material we're looking at does reach a clear conclusion. After weighing both sides, the analysis argues that the economic potential is just so immense that it outweighs the security risks, and that ultimately, Bangladesh should join the network.
But that brings us to our final question, and it's a timeless dilemma that goes way beyond just Bangladesh.
When a nation has to choose between a highway to prosperity and a path that protects its independence, how does it ever decide which road to take?